on BBC Surrey. It's coming up to 25 minutes past 7. Now, everyone has a wedding song, usually played during the first dance when you're two-stepping with your other half. Well, Ed Sheeran, Etta James and Elton John are among the most popular choices, but a classical musician from Surrey is offering to write and record a unique piece of music for happy couples. Well, Adrian Brockless is a former head chorister at Guildford Cathedral and joins us now. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So why on earth would you want to do that?
Well, I rather like the idea, okay? I mean, people, I think of classical music as something from which they're rather distant. I mean, a lot of the time anyway. And they don't listen to it every day. But you often find that at points in their life when meaning really matters, they appeal to it. So, for example, at weddings and sometimes at funerals and anniversaries and so on. And I sort of started thinking about this and thought, well, it would be rather nice to have a sort of heirloom idea, right? So you write a piece of music for somebody's wedding or as a gift from one person to another. And that is performed at the time, and then there's the chance of it being re-performed perhaps 50 years later, live, a fresh performance, but in a way that harks back to the day that was special to them.
That's such a lovely, lovely idea. And how would it work then? Do you kind of meet the people and kind of think, and try and go with whatever kind of feeling you get from them, or do you just go off and write something?
Well, no, I'd obviously talk to them, certainly find out exactly what it was that they were looking for in terms of whatever special occasion it was. And I would give them a sort of questionnaire that asked for some sort of basic details, such as perhaps style and what instrumental ensemble they might like. And from there, we would perhaps progress. Maybe, for example, they'd like a song written for them, a poem set to music, or maybe they even have their own words. So from there, we'd have sort of telephone consultations and email correspondence, and they'd be involved in the creative process right along the way.
Would they need a bit of a knowledge of classical music beforehand, or is that not necessary?
No, of course not, no. I mean, I could sort of help them along the way and advise them in that respect. I mean, I could also advise in terms of sort of appropriate classical music for weddings, and give them maybe some more unusual options than the usual sort of thing that you appeal to.
Well, we can hear. We've got a little clip of one of your bespoke samples here. Let's have a listen. Well, that was for Darren and Tracy, composed. I like the idea in the same way that you mentioned the heirloom sort of thing, that people sort of use the same christening garment, don't they, and that kind of stuff. It would almost like, I don't know, it's almost like a signature ring, but a bit of music, that's handed down through the family.
Yeah. And as I say, there's always the chance for the performance again being re-performed in 50 years' time.
OK, brass tacks. Whenever it comes to anything involved with weddings, you think, cha-ching!
Yes.
What's the cost?
Well, generally speaking, it starts at around £800, but that's sort of negotiable. I offer sort of several kinds of package, so that there will be the sort of composition-only option, which would just write the music for them, and then the client or customer would have to arrange for the performance themselves. I can obviously do a package where you write the music, and where I write the music and the instrumentalists are provided. And then, of course, you've got on top of that the possibility of it being recorded. And in every case, in every package, the customer will receive a framed title page and a copy of the score.
It's a lovely idea, isn't it?
It really is. It really is.
And how do you know you've got it right? Because do they have to approve the bit?
I will certainly sort of send them things or play some stuff over the phone or maybe via Skype or something like that. And if there's something that they particularly don't like, we can sort of work on it and tweak it a little bit. I mean, it rather depends. It depends on me as well, okay? Because sometimes I have to work quite hard to sort of produce something, and at other times I can write very quickly. So this.
And presumably, when it comes to a wedding, this is all done quite far in advance. So you don't have that kind of bridezilla moment on the day when they're hearing it for the first time.
I will. I'd sort of say I'd need a minimum of 2 or 3 months, right, in order to sort of get this thing properly executed.
It's lovely. So if somebody is interested, somebody's listening, think, oh, that sounds nice for my daughter's wedding or so-and-so's wedding, what do they need to do?
Well, get in touch with me via my website, which is www.bespokeclassicalmusic.com, or email me at info@bespokeclassicalmusic.com.
And Adrian, I have no idea whether you're even married, but if you are, did you have a wedding song?
I didn't actually have a wedding song, no.
Oh, I'm appalled.
Did you not?
Did you not? You got the London Philharmonic in, though, to do one of yours.
No. I mean, we had some music by my father, as a matter of fact.
Oh, brilliant.
Well, that's really personal.
Well, that's almost where probably the origins of the idea. Actually, sort of handing it down through the family.
Well, it was. I mean, my father, obviously, he was a professional musician. He was a professor at the Royal Academy of Music. But I remember once when I was quite young, somebody came to him and said, well, I'm a bit stuck for a gift. Would you actually write something for this christening? And so he did. But that wasn't really, I mean, he was a composer, but that wasn't really something that he was interested in as such. It was just that there's a one-off. And I sort of thought back to that and thought, this is
nice idea.
Nice idea, yeah.
Okay. Well, mine was Love Me Tender. Sung by an Elvis impersonator. Don't even worry about that.
Was that the first dance or the walkie down the aisle?
That was the first dance.
Oh, first dance. Yeah. Mine was Elbow, One Day Like This.
Oh, you see? Beautiful. Nice stuff. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
It's BBC Surrey. The time is 7:31. We'll update the latest sport in a moment. We've got the weather and the travel after the BBC News.